Hey all, welcome back to my channel Library. In part 1 of Pandas, we have seen what exactly is that library, what is the use of specific Pandas library when it comes to Python, when we are applying that for AI and data science. In this video, we are going to see how to import an exact CSV file or Excel file into our coding environment. So let's get started without any delay. So for that, first step, what you have to do is in the left side, we do have these many options, right, in your collab. So go to this folder option. So the option that is available below the keys icon. So click on that and click on this particular upload option. I mean the upper arrow. Now all the folders that is available into your file explorer will be showed. So in that you should choose the CSV file that you need to upload and click on open. It will upload the file into this environment. You need to give OK or something likewise. So before doing that, you need CSV file, right? So for doing that, let me explain how to download a random CSV file that you could use for practicing. So CSV file is actually a comma separated file. So this is generally an Excel file which is converted into that format so that Pandas could easily understand and we could work on that particular table data. So for downloading a CSV file that a beginner could practice, what you have to do is go to Google and search for Kaggle dataset. You'll be seeing these many options. So you search for Kaggle dataset CSV likewise. So under this, you'll be seeing so many options. So just search for Kaggle dataset. You'll be seeing CSV files option. Just go into this and you'll be seeing datasets option. So under datasets, you'll be having so many options like this. Just choose a random CSV file, .csv file. So just I'm clicking on turbine CSV. So you will be getting into an environment like this. So after getting into this particular web page, what you have to do is click on the right side download option. After clicking on download, you'll be seeing these many options, under which you should click on download dataset as zip. After clicking, you'll be seeing an option to sign in if you are using Kaggle for the first time. If you click on continue next to next, you will be getting signed into this particular Kaggle website. After which you could download any data set as per your requirement. You could even search and download any data sets you want. If I search for heart CSV file, likewise, if I just search for heart, you'll be seeing these many options available. You could get into any of this and download the required CSV as per your requirement for practicing. So this data set is specifically used for practicing as a beginner. Because as soon as you start learning this AI projects and handling data sets, you will not getting any direct data sets from business, right? So for that purpose, what you can do is you could use the data set that's available online, specifically from this catalog. So yes, now I already downloaded so many CSV files, so I'm using a random CSV file. So here, what CSV file I have is wine quality white CSV. And I additionally have another Excel file, Excel GOV. Okay. So these two files that I uploaded to this particular coding environment, to this particular folder. So after uploading it here, I just need to click on this cross option. I mean this wrong option so that it will move aside. So my coding environment is completely visible to me. For the first step, what you have to do is you need to load my CSV file into my coding environment. For that, you have to first import my pandas library. Followed by that, I'm creating a data frame. What I'm doing here is I'm creating a variable called df. So this is something that we'll be using often for calling a data frame and creating a data frame specifically in Pandas. So inside this df variable, I'm calling that library pandas using pd.readcsv. This is actually a syntax. Followed by that, pd.readcsv, I'm opening and closing a bracket inside which I'm calling the exact file name as per what I've given here. Wine quality white.csv. Inside a double quotes, a single quote or double quote, anything is fine. And followed by that, if I call the exact variable name once again, it will print my whole table's first and last 5 rows. See, first 5 rows, last 5 rows. So for printing my first and last 5 rows, what I have to do is I just need to import my CSV file into my coding environment using this pd.readcsv, and then when I give df, it will print my first and last 5 rows. Next to that, as similar to how we imported CSV file into my coding environment, I could import Excel file too. So it is a small change that you need to make to that particular line of coding. Instead of giving read CSV, what you have to give is read Excel. See here, you are giving read Excel. Inside that, you should call the Excel file name. So followed by that, instead of giving df, why we do give df Excel here? It is completely optional. Here, why I used df Excel is because I'm using Excel file here. So naming a variable is completely my wish. So as per your requirement, you could name this variable. So to make a difference between this df, I'm using Excel here. If I'm just calling this Excel file for the first time, I'll just use df here. So after reading that, to print the first 5 rows and last 5 rows, the same syntax as similar to how I followed for CSV file. So it will print my first and last 5 rows of my Excel file. So you can see the name of the columns. So what kind of values are there in each and every columns, if it is number or if it is a string data. Generally in Pandas, string will not be called as string data. Instead, it will print and give me as an object data type. Integer will be printed as integer. Float will be printed as float. But we have string data type inside a particular column. It will not be printed as string. Instead, inside pandas, it will be called as object data type. Next to that, in this particular table, in my CSV file, if I just want to print my first 5 rows, what I have to do is I need to use this syntax df.head. df is the data frame name inside which I stored that particular variable, I stored my data frame. Dot head open and close bracket. This is a syntax that I'll be using after that. For printing the top 5 rows, what I'm giving here, I'm giving df dot head. If I run the cell, it will be printing my first 5 rows of this particular data set, particular CSV file. Followed by that, if I just want to see the last 5 rows, what I have to do is I just need to give df.tail. If I run this cell, it will be printing my last 5 rows of this given CSV file. So df.head means in my given CSV file or Excel file, I'll be printing the first 5 rows. If I just want to see the last 5 rows, in this particular part, what I have to give is I just need to specify df.tail. It will be printing my last 5 rows of my given CSV file. So what if I just want to know the number of rows and columns in my given data set? It is simple. You just need to give df.shape. It will be printing by number of rows and columns in my CSV file. See, first it will be printing my number of rows. Followed by that, it will be printing my number of columns in this particular CSV file. So look at it. Here itself it got printed. Additionally, if I want a clarity in my output, while printing number of rows and columns, for proof, what I have to do is I just need to use df.shape. It will be printing the number of rows and number of columns in my given CSV file. So if I just want to know about all the column names of my CSV file or Excel, if I want to know all the data types, if I want to know the missing values is there or not, if I want to know the memory used for this particular data. For all these things, I can use a single line of coding, that is df.info with open and close brackets. See, look at the output. First, the column names. All the column names got printed from fixed acidity to quality. Next, data types. So for all these column names, see, inside my column, what are all the data types we have as a summary? We just have two data types. One is float and another one is integer. So here, the data types got printed. Next to that, missing values. So non-null. In this particular table it created, it got printed as non-null, right? Which means in my data type, the null values, which means the missing values are not there. So that is why it got printed as non-null. If there are null values, it will be printed as null, and the count of null values in each and every column will get printed here. So as this particular data doesn't have any null values, so that is why we do got output as non-null. And memory usage. So for this particular data, we do used 459.3 KB of memory. So all these information about my data will get printed when I just use this single line of coding, df.info open and close bracket. If I just want to see what are all the data types that are there on my all data. So in my table, I just want to see the data type of each and every column in a neat format. So for that, what I have to use is, I just need to use df.dtypes. It will be printing all my column along with the data types of each and every column. See, look at how clarity we do have in this particular table while printing the data type of each and every column. So that is why we do need this simple function df.dtypes. It will printing my data types of each and every column. So these are all the general data types we do have in this particular data. Integer, float and object. Not just this data, generally in table data, these are all the three data types. So integer means whole numbers, float means decimal values, and object means, as we already mentioned, it is a string data type. df.describe is a function which will be printing all my statistical values for all the numerical columns. If my particular column has integer or float values, it says it is a number, right? So for every number, I can find the minimum value, maximum value, mean, median, and mode value, and the 50% value, 25% value, standard deviation, and all. So why do we need to find them? To understand my data. So what is the mean of this particular column? So what is the average value? So what is the minimum value? What is the maximum value? So to understand my data, I need to give df.describe, which will be printing all these statistical values like this for every single column that I have in my data. So see, with this single line of coding, I printed all the statistical values. That is why Python is so powerful for handling data. So just by looking at this data, I can get an understanding. I can analyze and figure it out what makes sense, if this column is necessary or not, if I have any outliers. So outliers in technical terms, it means if a particular value is very less, if it is very high than the average value. So you can look at this minimum value. The minimum value is very less than average value. It says it is wrongly typed while entering the data. So it can be removed or it can be treated by replacing that with mean, median or mode value or any other values that make sense. So for doing all these things, we could use Pandas library. And to understand my data, I'm using df.describe to see all the minimum, maximum and mean values and all the statistical values. So for today, as similar to how we imported and used CSV files, we can do the same thing for Excel too. So how I give df.head, you can just give df excel.head. Let me use that and show you. Here we imported df excel, right? So as similar to how you saw the first 5 rows, if I want to see the first 5 rows of my Excel file, the same syntax, but just the name of the variable you need to change. So it will be printing the first 5 rows of my Excel. So there is no changes in CSV and Excel file to all these functions, whatever we have seen. Head, tail, info, data types, describe. Yeah. So today for you the task is download any data set from Kaggle datasets that is available online as per your interest that excites you, and do all these analysis that we did for today. So printing all the first and last 5 rows using df, and using df.head you should print the first 5 rows, using df.tail, and all these functions whatever we have seen today. So bye for now. We'll meet you in next video. If you have any doubts, without any hesitation, drop them in comments. So bye.